Hey, lovely, lovely, wonderful, beautiful, handsome, amazing people. A pleasant afternoon to you. I'm not sure if it is Edmund Burke or who exactly coined this wonderful, wonderful, very thought provoking, very moving term. And it's not just thought provoking, but a very important term. The phrase says, evil prevails when good men and women do nothing. Let me repeat. Evil prevails when good men and women do nothing. So oftentimes the problems that we see in the world is not just courtesy of the wicked, of the evil people, but it is because good men and women do nothing. They do not take a stance against evil, against wickedness, against injustice, against unfairness, against bad treatment of the human race. And it is a powerful reminder of the importance of action in the face of injustice, wrong, unfairness, infractions, misconducts. And it says, though often attributed to Edmund Burke, there is no direct evidence he said or wrote those exact words. Still, the sentiment reflects his ideas, especially the notion that moral inaction enables wrongdoing. So let me tell you, you have some good people out there, but let me tell you, they're almost equally disturbing as the evil people because they see and they do nothing when they can. Now, you may say that you don't have the authority. We're not talking about moral authority. You may not be in management, or you may not have this sort of power or whatever it is to do. You can hold people accountable. You can let them know that they're doing wrong in a respectful and a loving manner, but firm. Let them know that you're not in support of their wrongdoing. That is all that it takes, and your actions must be commensurate with same. You must be laughing and kiki and befriending them in their wrong. Now, when Jesus befriended, if you notice, Jesus was very strident and deliberate in the sinners that he walked with. It was those who received him, those who wanted to change to become better. Not the ones like the thief on the cross, who basically turned his back. Don't realize he didn't turn his back on Jesus, he turned his back against himself. While the other said, Jesus, I'm a sinner. I'm confessing my sins to you. Forgive me, just welcome me in paradise. And Jesus said, today you shall be with me in paradise. At its core, the quote suggests, 1, complacency empowers wrongdoing. Yeah, so when you sit down and watch and don't do anything, because it's not you directly, or you're afraid that they will do something to you. Let me tell you, even if you're afraid and they don't do something to you today, another evil set of people is going to do something to you tomorrow. Guaranteed. Whatever seed you sow, you reap. So complacency empowers wrongdoing. If those who have the moral high ground remain passive, which many are like that, they unintentionally allow harmful forces to grow. I've seen this. They're the most irritating people on the planet sometimes. These so-called good people who watch wrongdoing and they do nothing about it in one form or another. They're in the workplaces. Oh God, they're in the churches. They're in social places. I mean, you can list the different areas that you can find. These so-called good people who watch there and they see them doing wrong to others, and they do. As a matter of fact, they almost pat the person on the back indirectly for the wrongs that they're doing to others. By befriending them, by being in their space, laughing. So the wrongdoer thinks that what he or she is doing is good and correct. 2, responsibility of the bystander. A lot of people feel that it is not their business. I must say I'm blind here and deaf. It doesn't go like that. That's not what it is saying. You're your brothers and your sisters' keeper. It's not enough to simply be good. That is why some people will not get any crowns in their stars. Their stars in their crowns, you know what I mean? Some people will not get any stars in their crowns. That's a reality. You may not have done per se evil in the way that we know evil to be, and wicked as what we know wicked to be to people, but you watched it. And God is going to hold you accountable. Go and read Ezekiel 33 or chapter 3. One of the two chapters, or read the entire book of Ezekiel. You'll find it. Talks about the watchman. That if you see the person doing evil and you do nothing about it, the blood of that person, when the punishment hits them, will be on your shoulder. But if you warn them and they don't listen, the blood will be on their own shoulders. Go and read it. God doesn't play. I've seen it happening. Many lives, life after life after life, meaning people's lives. So responsibility of the bystander, it's not enough to simply be good. Goodness must be expressed through courage, advocacy, and resistance to evil. For people, it's not enough to simply be good. Being good, God will hold you accountable. Goodness must be expressed through courage, advocacy, and resistance to evil. And resistance to evil. Social and political relevance. In times of crisis, silence and neutrality often side with the oppressor, not the oppressed. Yes, people, this is so true about so-called good people. That's why, to me, sometimes I think they're not good. To me, I think that they're not good. Often, in times of crisis, silence and neutrality, they often side with the oppressor. Sometimes when you see how they behave with the oppressor, you say to yourself, and then this person go and they can't hardly talk to the other good person. They can hardly talk because they know what they're doing is wrong. They can hardly talk to the other good person. And it happens a lot in workplaces and churches. A lot. Even other things. And it's when life starts to hit them, the so-called good people, you want to see them trifle. And when they're no longer in the space of the oppressor, they want to go on nice with the other good people. And the good people them say to themselves, if they ever know how it's almost like they churn the stomach of the victims. Those so-called good people, they churn. And I'm really using my words very lightly. Because if I were to go out and just tell you how I feel evil, that is why we are faced. That is one of the main, not the only, one of the main reasons why evil is in the land, in our country, because there are so-called many good people who are doing zilch. There's so many so-called good people who are doing nothing and they're siding with the oppressors. And to me, they're oppressive as well. Because there's no purpose you're serving. Because you don't want to be shafted. You don't want to be ostracized. You don't want to be blackballed, stonewalled, rejected and abused. So you side with the oppressor. You laugh with the oppressor. When your conscience is telling you, that this person is doing evil to that person. This person is doing evil to these people. And you do nothing about it. But Ezekiel chapter 3 or 33 pauno. Ezekiel chapter 3 or chapter 33 pauno. And me says so, God says so. One thing may know with God. His word tends to come to pass. It tends to come to pass. I've proven it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Stay there and laugh with evil. Stay there and joke with wickedness. Stay there and side with the oppressor because you don't want to be oppressed. You don't want to be abused. You don't want to be ostracized. You don't want to be kicked aside, gaslighted. But you watch your fellow brother and sister being treated badly, and you know because you feel it in your heart, your mind, and your soul, and you do nothing about it. But your day of reckoning is coming, guaranteed. Because you would have contributed to the evil in the land. Anyway, guys, you know what to do. Read YouTube and TikTok, subscribe, and give me one of those lions. Thank you.